Welcome back. Police are still investigating the circumstances surrounding 10 students who mysteriously became ill on Thursday while in school at Achievers Academy off Tonic Williams-Darling Highway. Police said around 12:15 p.m. the students started experiencing dizziness, vomiting, and faintness while participating in physical education activities. As seen here, students were taken to the hospital for treatment via emergency medical services, and they were also taken in for observation. Doctors are conducting tests to determine what happened to those students. Meanwhile, in recent times, the police have warned parents and students to be aware of certain candies that may be laced with drugs, although it is uncertain if that is the case as investigations into this concerning matter continues. Also on Thursday, 3 males, including a 19, 17, and 16-year-old, were arrested for armed robbery. Police say around 2 p.m. the victim was repairing his motorcycle on Malcolm Road West when 2 unknown gunmen approached him and robbed him of that motorcycle. Officers quickly responded and recovered the stolen motorcycle and arrested one of the suspects, while a second suspect escaped. But eventually he turned himself into police along with the third suspect. Investigations continue as the police they look to confiscate the firearm used in that armed robbery. Meanwhile, the Royal Bahamas Police Force is ramping up its efforts to disrupt street gangs in the country. During a meeting with Prime Minister Philip Davis and religious leaders earlier this week, Commissioner of Police Clayton Fernanda shared some of the progress the police current operations are making, cracking down on criminal activity in known hotspot areas.
This is what we are disrupting right now. There's 4 active gangs that we are trying to disrupt. This is a gang in the Fox Hill area. And I won't go on no names, but you will see we are disrupting that. We have a plan of action. Next one. This is the next one, Tiger Nation. This is in the Grove, Ridgeland Park area. We got that. We have a plan of action. Next slide. This is Dirty South. This is a crew from Nassau Village, Pinewood Garden. We have a plan of action. Next slide. Fox Hill, Outlaws. We got that. We identify them. We have a plan of action for them. I just wanted to highlight that they are the active gangs, which we know are connected with the majority of these gang violence. Next slide. And I just want to thank the Prime Minister who just last week visited the ATF in Miami. And in the photo as well, you will see our liaison officer from the police and custom. And we are in discussion with them with the trafficking of firearms to come. And most of the weapons, as we continue to say, flow from the U.S. There's, after checking the weapon last year, the weapon was found today. When we trace that weapon, time to crime, it was purchased in the U.S. today and used in the commission of a murder the next day. The next day, the very next day. That is concerning and alarming, very alarming. And they are the kind of discussion that our Prime Minister continue to connect with our U.S. partners to see if we could come together as we're doing now with all hands on deck. And we, ladies and gents, we will win this with every hands on deck. We know exactly who they are, and there's a plan of action I will discuss further, and we will disrupt what is going on. We can't let our younger generation, we can't lose them. We have to save them. This crew right now, I don't think we can save them. But the young people, we got to keep them out of their hands. We got to keep them out. We'll do whatever it takes.
Commissioner Fernanda also shared update statistics on the police's recent success in Operations Ceasefire and Eagle Claw, which are focused on getting illegal weapons off the streets.
Officers are out there, day in, night out, operation, and we are finding the guns. We are arresting individuals for possession of unlicensed fire. We are arresting them. There's 2 courts identified that is speedily trial with those matters within 2-3 weeks. 2-3 weeks, matter closed. This just for the month of January, 1,387 suspect arrested, 704 charged. You see the ammunition, 5,560, 623 rounds. Then you look at the search warrant, officers out there, aggressive stop and search within the community. You see a lot of officers out there, 6,496 just for the month of January. Fixed penalty trying to maintain the management of the road. People drive.
At the same stakeholders meeting, Prime Minister Philip Davis announced that the Davis administration will table anti-gang legislation next week, giving the law more teeth when dealing with individuals involved in organized gang activity, similar to the United States Racketeer, Influenced, and Corrupt Organizations Act, or the RICO Act. Scores of people that live in unregulated communities on Abaco are expected to have their makeshift homes demolished after the Ministry of Works issued over 400 eviction notices in 3 shanty towns on that island 2 weeks ago. The question now remains, what will happen to people that lived in the unregulated communities? On Wednesday, Central and South Abaco Member of Parliament John Pinder said employers of foreign migrants on work permits, they are responsible for housing them.
Looking forward to this administration cleaning up what the problem is in Abaco, is these growing shanty towns. We have more popping up every day, so after we're done with these, we'll go to the smaller ones. We must have order. These groups of people are coming there because Abaco is a vibrant, growing economy. Money is flowing. We're going to make sure the money goes in Bahamian hands first. Although we do need some work permit holders, the employers need to come up with accommodations. This is a great opportunity for entrepreneurs to put up apartments and have an investment there in Abaco. We have a lot of land. There's a lot of areas to do it, and encouraging any Bahamians out there to come put apartments up and have some of this investment come back into our pockets.
Mr. Pinder believes this is a great opportunity for entrepreneurs to invest in apartment buildings. Asked about the documented housing shortage on Abaco and what options displaced individuals would have, Mr. Pinder said there will have to be a shift.
Yes, it is going to be a transition given the number of people. There is still a housing shortage from Dorian, but with our growing economy, this is not going to come to resolution anytime soon. More businesses are opening, more tourist attractions are happening, and we need more, and you see more Bahamians coming into Abaco. So the housing shortage is not going to be solved overnight. It's not going to be solved within a couple of years, and it's going to be an ongoing problem. But that's why I encourage all the entrepreneurs out there, anybody that wants to make an investment, Abaco is the place to do it. And we're looking forward to the removal of these shanty towns. It's not right for them to be able to go there and live rent-free, mortgage-free, and when Bahamians have to pay all this.
According to Minister of Works Clay Sweeting, the government is only obligated to assist Bahamian residents who live in the unregulated communities, while undocumented occupants will be deported. And finally, tourism officials on Wednesday signed a 3-year agreement with Alive and Cable Bahamas with support from the Department of Information and Communications Technology to launch a smart city pilot as one of the many projects of Innovate 242 to establish the Bahamas as the center of innovation for the Caribbean. The plan is to establish a Wi-Fi zone at the Nassau Cruise Port extending as far west as Arawak Key and as far east as the Sydney-Poitiers Bridge. The overall aim of this project is to enable the Bahamas to more efficiently capitalize on the untapped economic potential of cruise tourism. The installation process is expected to be completed in the second quarter of 2024. And that'll do it for your JCN Evening News. Once again, I'm Jarino Saunders. Thank you so much for joining us.
This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.